Afghanistan conference is scheduled for next week, November 23rd and 24th in Geneva. It's parallel with ongoing peace talks. What is your expectation of countries or international committing to Afghanistan development, peace, and also financial support, with the fact that peace process also is still going on and there's not much progress?
My expectation is that countries like Pakistan or Iran or even countries in the north of Afghanistan do not have the means for the financing reconstruction rehabilitation. So you would see probably European countries being interested potentially in doing so, and perhaps the next US administration. But they will ask for guarantees. And those guarantees would be a sustainable peace, not just a ceasefire. And sustainable peace means that the Taliban are expected to commit themselves in some type of process that will show that they are not the ones we knew in the past. And what is the test for that? What is the thermometer telling everyone in Geneva or elsewhere that this can be a genuine peace process? Women, the human rights in general, civil society in particular, and especially women. Will they be able to explain what they mean by education of women and jobs profession, and what they mean by that word saying according to the Islamic provisions? Does this mean high education? Does this mean access to jobs? That would help in Geneva countries to feel more comfortable.
Great. And do you think the peace talks is going in the right path where there is not much progress? And a lot of international leaders are stressing on saving achievements, as you mentioned a little bit, on what is achieved so far for women, human rights, and media freedom. And you're expert in peace. You have been doing work extensively. Or do you see it as going on the right path?
Well, first of all, I must, and I think you all in Afghanistan, you feel, and I feel so attached to the Afghan people, having been in my life at least 4 times professionally associated with the Afghan people. They are proud people. They believe in their country, and they are tired of this horrible long period of war. And we all feel that, and everyone in the world agrees with that. So a peace process, yes, but not at any cost. Second, what will be the test again for that? See how much the conquest, the return of women in particular to having professions like doctors, like lawyers, like anchor people and journalists like yourself will still be able to continue doing so. And 3, the real moment of truth will be if this becomes sustainable. Inclusion. We will see that or not see that. Remember one thing, my experience says that in every peace process, when you're getting close to the end, that's when a lot of violence sadly takes place. But not terror, it should not be that. But violence seems to be a pattern when you're getting close to a peace process, because everyone wants to position itself. But that doesn't justify the horrible terror attacks we saw recently. But we should not be either disappointed if we see some violence, and not terror, because sadly this is part of the physiological process of what they call hot negotiation. But never, never terror, like we saw.
Sir, you're following on US troops withdrawal. What are the implications of US troops withdrawal? As initiated, Trump wanted to remove troops from Afghanistan, and now, according to CNN, he plans to take back 2,000 troops back by January 15, and only 2,500 will be left in Afghanistan. With the surge of violence you mentioned as well, with Taliban and also ISIS in Afghanistan, what do you believe in it, and do you think there will be consequences for Afghan people?
Well, you see, the current peace process of discussions are the right thing to do because, as we said, everyone is tired of this war and it's fine that this should be ending. But the peace process cannot be just driven by an exit strategy at any cost, or by a US electoral deadline, because these are artificial deadlines and artificial benchmarks. And the Taliban, or whoever on that side, know that. So they would be gaining time in order to get the best out of it, but then negotiate only when the Americans would have left. And when the Americans leave, Europeans leave as well. So conclusion, a serious negotiation should require still some type of deterrent if things go very badly wrong, and incentive, such as humanitarian, obviously, but also reconstruction. I don't see that being clearly mentioned at the moment. And the whole priority seems to be simply an exit strategy. And that's not good enough, even for sustaining peace afterwards.
Last question. Do you think Joe Biden or incoming US administration will be committed to the peace agreement with the Taliban, given the fact with the increasing violence from Taliban and ISIS still exists in Afghanistan?
I can't really prejudge what the president-elect will be doing on Afghanistan at the moment. But I do know people who know him very well. And I am convinced that he will be particularly interested in a sustainable, credible political process. Something that will not just be exit of US troops, but also something that will guarantee women's rights, for instance, and civil rights. Because he has always been a supporter. The proof is that his deputy is a woman, and a very good one.
Just a question that came in my mind. Do you think the Taliban reconcile with saving achievements of Afghan women and all other achievements in Afghanistan, as you say that you want to support Afghan people? Do you think they will reconcile in this peace talks, let's say, if it goes through?
What I believe is that we have the benefit of the doubt still, although it's a big doubt, that the Taliban have learned the fact that by being so extreme on women in particular, I know I'm mentioning that because this is a test for seeing whether human rights in general for men and women would be applied. They have learned the lesson that this is one of the reasons why the international community intervened. It was not only bin Laden. We were all New Yorkers, fine. But then it became also the outrage of seeing women being killed simply because they were listening to music or because they went shopping, not with their husband, but with perhaps their uncle. Conclusion, we are now at the time when we should raise our pens. What does it mean? This is an idea of Afghan women. There are so many like you who believe that, in fact, by keeping the right to education, pen, and to jobs, they are also protecting the rights of men and of their sons. So let's raise the pen for the Afghan women and Afghan civilians, rather than raising a Kalashnikov. Many Kalashnikov during the last 40 years. We need more pens.
Fantastic. Thank you.